What's up with Pebbles here?
So, Pebbles is a bad walker. And
Okay.
it's getting to the point, I feel like I'm starting to get like arthritis or something in my
Sure.
elbow.
Looks pretty strong.
She's strong. I mean, like I feel like she kind of knows the heel command.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm saying heel until we're walking back
Sure.
up the driveway. I mean, like it's the whole time.
Yeah.
She's much better for my husband, of course.
So you could probably a little stronger, so.
But then the other big thing is seeing other dogs.
Yeah, reactive.
Yeah.
That's so common with the Rotties. It's so
and
common.
She's not aggressive, you know.
Yeah,
like
and they never usually are. Yeah.
She likes to play. It looks really aggressive. But you know, my coping is just head the other way.
Yeah.
Go anywhere I can. Go in the other direction.
Yeah.
Cross the street. Do whatever I can.
Yeah, they're just such a headstrong breed. You know, I mean, that's most of it. I feel like.
Yeah.
So they just like get in the zone. They do not want to take direction. You know.
Yeah.
They're just very much their own dog. You know.
Very sweet. And
Yeah.
Total lap dog. She gets along with other dogs just fine. It's just she wants to go see them, and it looks, you know, like what it's doing to my arm, and what it looks like from across the street is pretty scary.
Yeah, and you said the walk in itself is just not very great already.
No, I mean, like I had worked with some girl, like friend of a friend last summer.
Sure, sure.
And I kind of had like, you know, where she was more behind me.
Yeah.
And you know, I know it's me. It's just easier, like, just go do your thing. But I mean, like, I try to keep her on one side.
Yeah.
But.
What's up with that one nail?
Oh, so the one nail, yes.
Jeez.
That was my gift to my daughter. That happened during my daughter's wedding ceremony.
What happened?
She was at home, and we had just put, you know those umbrellas that have, like, you have to put
Yeah.
the pavers
Sure.
down?
Yeah.
She wasn't familiar with the paver, and she ripped it.
Oh.
And I thought
Grew back
that
weird?
they cut it completely out when she was at the vet.
Yeah.
But it has grown back to this long, that's trimmed down right now.
Wow.
But she's starting to favor that paw a lot. And I just wondered, like, is this why she was like starting to act up because she's in
No,
pain or something?
I wouldn't say
But
that's the case. Yeah.
But she's like, I don't know if she's starting to get like arthritis, but when she sits for or lays down for a while, she will definitely favor it.
Yeah.
When she gets up, she kind of stands on all three.
How old is she?
She's 4. She'll be 5 in Christmas time.
Well, the nails in general are pretty long. How is she about having them?
We don't really
trimmed?
do them.
You don't?
No.
You're definitely probably going to want to start maintaining those a little bit, whether you have somebody do them, you know, like we offer nail trims and stuff, or if you want to do them. Because the problem is, and not that I'm seeing a lot of them like touching the ground, like they're growing obviously like straight out, but when they have really long nails, as they walk, it's going to really pull the joint back like that.
Okay.
You know, and it could cause a lot of pain and discomfort for the dogs. So that, and then if you're starting to see issues with like her like favoring legs and stuff, maybe a little diet, trim her down a little bit.
Are you fatty?
She's a little chunky.
She's
A little chunky there.
She eats 2 eggs every day. She's
2 eggs?
2 scrambled eggs a day.
Oh, nice.
She's been doing that since she was a puppy.
So I don't mind that, right?
She was bought for we have a 21-year-old, and this is like his dog.
Sure.
But you know,
that's Scott putting on you guys.
But right, and not that he's not responsible.
Sure.
It's just he's not up feeding her and walking her, and so now she is now mine.
Yeah, I understand.
And, so yeah, I've had labs most of my. So she's definitely different
harder.
than a lab. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, totally different personality than our labs.
Yeah, totally.
She's just strong-willed, needy.
Yeah.
Very needy.
Now, have you done any training with her professionally? Outside of, you said you worked with kind of a friend?
Yeah, we did a couple weeks, and she was really good. I could take her down to Lakewood Park, and she could watch a dog walk by, but that was kind of short-lived.
Yeah, and did you just work with the prong collar, or did you use an e-collar at all?
No e-collar.
No e-collar?
Just the prong collar.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
And so I put this on like when we're going out, but like when she's at home and stuff, I will take it and be ready.
Yeah, it's usually just a walking collar, so.
Yeah, so she's, I have them like connected.
Yes, yeah, you have the
that
quick
pink
snap.
one just come right apart.
Yeah, okay,
Luckily
gotcha.
It's been in the house, not, holding her back.
All right, well.
We go, so we have the cake shop across the street from St. Ed's.
Yes, that's right,
So I'll go, she's real good with, I can, get her and I can go the whole lawn and as long as there's no other dogs coming by. But that's her. A squirrel can be 2 feet away. A rabbit.
She's pretty neutral to those.
Less.
That's good.
A dog, cats. She's everything.
Different
she's fine.
story.
Just dogs.
Yeah, dogs are hard for some dogs, and like I said, the Rotties in particular, man, they love to be reactive towards dogs.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. So I see we have you down. We're doing a single session here right now.
I think we were gonna like evaluate and see.
Okay, just checking. All right. So let's do this. What we're going to do is we're going to get her fitted up with an e-collar here. We're going to just check out the walk, see if we can get that walk looking a little bit better here, and then kind of go from there. So let me fit her up here. We'll take her outside. I'm going to have you kind of show me what the walk looks like currently, and then we'll go from there. Oh, yeah, you got all sorts of collars on here. Hang on. Let's spin her around. She's like, I don't know what's going on. You are big. Oh my goodness. Don't worry about asking her to do anything right now. I'll just kind of manage her as I need to. Get some things a little twisted up. So you see how this chain is kind of twisted like that?
Yeah.
We're gonna undo it for a second.
It's okay. You want me to grab it?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and unclip it there. I'll hold her stable and then refix that so the chain isn't twisted. So just twist. There you go.
Does that look right?
So twist this that way. There you go. And then, there you go. So you see how it's still twisted? You got to twist one end. There you go. There you go. See how that's good like that? And then you're going to put it on like that.
Okay. You're a big girl.
Perfect. There you go. Yeah, so you see how that can open and close now the right way. Make sure every time you put it on, you have it situated up like that.
Could be part of my problem.
Well, it's, obviously that's not going to fix all of your issues by any means, but just the way these tools work, we want to have them all functioning as efficiently as possible, right? So not terrible, actually. I mean, could be worse for sure. Obviously you're using, it's been worse, is that what you said? Oh yeah, I believe you. Obviously it's requiring a lot of management from the leash here, right? You're needing to constantly kind of give information with it, which is some of the problem. Yeah, Yep. Yeah, so you're probably just nagging her the whole time. Yeah, you tell just kind of doing her thing, sniffing around. But this doesn't look terrible, so. And we're just going to go to the next corner up here.
Now if there was another dog out,
Sure.
it would be ugly.
Yeah. She doesn't get distracted by people much or anything?
Like this guy in this hoodie, it might.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. We walk a lot.
Yeah.
Now it's starting to get lighter earlier.
Sure, yeah.
A lot of times we're in the dark.
Yeah.
It is not like, people with hoodies, dark.
Yeah.
I think when I called you the first time, she was starting to bark at people. And
I remember you telling me that, yeah.
I'm starting to get a little freaked out. She hasn't been too bad, but I think it's because it's lighter out.
Yeah, usually nighttime's a little bit harder for dogs. All right, so, like I said, she's just kind of on her best behavior right now. I obviously can see how this, like I said.
She's in charge.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll just go to this corner and then we'll turn around. All right.
And she won't hesitate to just cut in front of me and zigzag.
Yeah, I believe you. All right, let's turn around. We'll start heading back, and then we're going to get cruising with this.
A lot of times, like in the morning, she's getting ready to go potty, so I let her do a lot of sniffing because I think, is this right? So
yeah, you got to start putting a place to this is your potty spot, right? It's all about creating structure and control on the walk. So I'm not going to let my dog sniff the entire walk to find out where they want to go. I'm going to let them know, here's your spot, right? Because what happens is they just take control of the entire walk at that point. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to teach right hand heeling then to keep your dominant hand open.
Okay.
So the idea is I want to condition in that the e-collar means everything this leash does, right? So we want to get her to a point where we're not physically micromanaging her into position everywhere, where she just understands where to stay and stays there on her own, right? Mentally engaging and focusing on the task at hand and stuff like that here. So first thing we need to do is figure out what her general working level is going to be on the e-collar. So basically what that is the first level that she could perceive, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at 0, go up, give a tap, go up, give a tap until I see some sort of sign that she's noticing it. From there, that will be kind of our starting range. So let's give it a whirl. These e-collars have 100 levels to them. So typically the lower levels, most humans can't even really feel. So we want to figure out where she starts to notice this. So right about there. So we're going to try that one more time here, make sure that level stays consistent. So you see her starting to itch at it. So yeah, so that's between a 30 and a 40 here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at about a 20, and then we'll go up from there as we need to. And what we're going to do is we're going to go up and down this parking lot here a couple of times, and anytime she gets ahead of me or to the side of me, what I'm going to do is press and hold the button, pull her back with the leash into position, and release both when she's in the correct position. So essentially we're teaching 1, this is the same thing as this, right? And 2, that heel position is the off switch for this pressure, right? So I'll have you kind of hang out in one spot here. I'm going to go up and down a couple of times, and we're going to see how she does with this. So I'm going to say come, start walking, and then like I said, anytime she gets ahead, pressing and holding, releasing when she gets behind. Go. And each time I do this, what I'm doing is I'm trying to gauge how is she responding to it, right? Is she blowing through it? Is she too distracted still? Is the e-collar too high? Is it too low, right? And what I'm doing is I'm kind of adjusting up or down a little bit based on how she's responding. What I want to get to a point of is I want to get to a point of where the e-collar is doing like 75% of the work, right? And the leash is doing about 25% and just kind of giving a direction. So let me do a couple more laps of this here. And obviously you'll see I want to stay as loose on this leash as possible, right? Yeah, every time I'm using that leash to back up, e-collar's happening at the same exact time. Again, I'm trying to teach that this is the same thing as this, so that ultimately this can turn into like my invisible leash. I'll do a couple more laps of that here. And like we said, the goal is the leash isn't doing anything, where ultimately we can get to a place and walk with that leash totally loose and have her understand that position well enough to maintain it. And then once we get them to a point where they're mentally engaged that well, even around basic distractions and stuff, like see she's even kind of stopping with us, you'll see even when we get her to that point that the reactivity and stuff is going to start to go away, because what we have her as, we have her at a place where like 60% of her brain is occupied on the task at hand, so she only has like 40% left then to worry about the dogs, the people, whatever else, you know? So I'm going to do one more lap of this, then we're going to start walking her again, starting to implement this drill we just did into the walk. I'm gonna have you start walking with me again, and we're gonna start walking down the street here doing the same thing. You can stay on my left-hand side. So anytime you're walking with somebody, try to avoid having the dog between you guys, because they tend to get confused who they're walking with.
Oh, okay.
Right? Now with you moving with us, that's an additional distraction. Obviously we'll probably need to work through, so we'll see how she does here. Yeah, you can see she's kind of trying to fight ahead to get around and see you. Yeah. She's like, Mom. There we go. Then I'm trying to kind of maintain where she stays just slightly behind the leg there. Well, there's that fighting for distractions and stuff. Now this tends to be the hardest part for these dogs, is when you're encountering things like smells and stuff. They get very, very fixated on those things. So what I'm doing is, as she drops her nose to sniff those things or tries to pull off to the side, pressing and holding with the leash, and I'm adjusting that level based on that distraction. So I want to see, like we were talking about, that the e-collar is doing like 80% of the work here, and that she's staying nice and focused. I need her to care more about this than she does about the distractions.
Okay.
So same deal right there, obviously. Doing good. And try to just ignore her as we're walking too. Because any sort of verbal prompts and stuff like that you're giving, just getting the attention on you, right? Which is ultimately not what we want. We need to get her working consistently with other people without being so concerned about what you're doing. Because she's already concerned about what you're doing, you know? Very good. And she's obviously still paying attention to you, but see, you know, she's starting to really fall into that this is what she needs to do, and she's kind of accepting that. And that's usually the first breakthrough that I look for with this, is that I'm not nagging them or fighting them as much to maintain position, that they're just kind of getting smooth with, all right, this is where I stay, right? You know, and I could do things like I could speed up a little bit, and then slow down, and see how she's stopping with me like that. That's the goal with all of this, is that we're having that degree of focus on the walk pretty much all the time. All right. All right, you ready? Yes. So I'm going to give you this.
Nope.
She's so excited. And don't pet her right now. If she jumps on you, just tell her no.
Nope. Nope.
There we go. And that's a lot of this as well with reactivity with particular owners, is the arousal associated with the person. So you're going to see if we do...
Just like feel her.
Oh, sure.
Is just going.
Oh, yeah. And you can see just that excitement as soon as I gave her back to you. And that, you know, that arousal turns into reactivity towards things and stuff like that. So what I want to do is I want to remove contrast all the time between me and you, right? Inevitably, there's going to be a degree of contrast. Like, she's your dog, right? She likes being, you know, she has associations with the house and you and what you guys do and stuff like that. But if we could start to show her that, particularly throughout these sessions here, and don't even worry about a sit or anything. All I want you to do is, if she jumps on you, just say no. That's it, right? A lot of the battle here is getting used to just telling the dog no, right? You just can't do that, right? But through going back and forth, I want her to see that what I'm doing is the same as what you're doing. The language is the same, so that we don't run into problems. So I'm going to give you this. This black S right above the red one is the only button that you need to worry about right now. So go ahead and shorten that leash just a tiny bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to start walking this way here. And anytime you use that leash to pull her into position, you're going to press and hold that button as well.
Like a
same
split
time.
Second?
Yeah, well, as long as it takes to get her into position, right? So if you're holding the leash and you're going, you're going to be, right?
Got it.
Now, if it's just a quick little back, then it would be a shorter pulse.
Okay.
All right, so let's start walking here. See what we get. Go ahead and keep on walking. Let me see. So you see how you're holding constant tension on that leash right now? Yeah. Anytime you're doing that, just back her up and then loose again. Back her up and then loose again.
Okay, so I want
perfect.
my arm to be like this,
yes,
right?
yes. We want no tension on that leash.
Right now.
Yeah, then back her up with the e-collar and the leash. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, like I said, we only want tension on that leash when we're trying to communicate something.
I know when I was working with that other girl,
Yes.
I felt like I would have my arm like back the whole way.
Yeah,
Like,
which is not the goal, right? Because
Right.
we don't want to
Not real
hold her
comfortable.
in position, you know? We want to communicate something and then let her make the correct choice. Communicate something and let her make the correct choice. And that's a problem with a lot of these other types of tools on the market, like the Halties and the harnesses and things like that, is they work through constant tension, right? So the dog is always feeling it in order to stay in position, right? Where the way we're trying to teach here is that the leash is irrelevant, right? The e-collar is irrelevant because she understands the position. All right, as she's doing well, give her a little bit more slack on that leash. Perfect. And you see how now you can see it's super loose. You want to always be able to feel when there's no tension on that leash. And you can kind of like loosen up as you go from that. Looks really good. And the goal is, if we're teaching this consistently, you shouldn't have to use it a lot. We spent a lot of time in the beginning teaching it, right? So now she understands it, she knows how to avoid it, she knows what it means. So she should just realistically stay in position. And you'll see the other thing is we didn't have to say anything, right? There's no verbal commands or anything through any of this. Because the remote and the leash are essentially our language right here now. All right, now go ahead and slow down a little bit. Come to a stop. Perfect. Then start walking again. Now, as you're slowing and as you're coming to a stop, just be prepared. If she were to keep walking the second you stopped, e-collar and leash to stop her, right? So now go ahead and do another stop here. Perfect. Start walking. It's awesome. Now see how she's starting to get a little ahead there? So right there, I probably would have used the e-collar because that was not as good as the last couple, right?
Okay.
So hold it to that clear criteria. You've seen how good she could do it.
Put my arm.
Yeah. Isn't it weird having it just like relaxed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been taught for
Yeah.
like 2 years.
Uh-huh. Obviously, this is just kind of step one of this walking process, right? This is obviously fantastic, but, you know, this is not finished. So, you know, don't expect.
We haven't counted any dogs.
Exactly. The first step is, again, getting the walking as good as we can get it. We have one more step, technically, of finishing the walking, right? Then we use it to address, like, distractions and stuff. Right there. Perfect.